Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. My name is Garth Smelser. I am the president of Rotary Club of Falmouth for a few more hours. And you might see me a little bit lighter in my shoes or smile on my face. I'm really excited that you're here. I'm really honored that you would come here and celebrate what is Rotary, what is our mission, and all the people behind that mission statement that make it so to get started, we're going to have a little bit of protocol, and then we're going to welcome guests and visitors, and then we'll get into the program. But for those that are able, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Even guests, you can join us in the four-way test, and if you don't know it, there's should be a little bit of bookmark on your table, and you can join us, even as a non-Rotarian, to help us to recite the things we think, say, or do as guidance to our Rotary mission. Number one, is it true? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you so much. You may be seated. So as we gather in fellowship and friendship with food and fun, I'm going to offer just a short invocation to mark the occasion. Gathered here today, we embrace our future. We are like-minded in our desire to serve here at home and around the world. We ask all of those present or watching remotely to join us in our motto of service above self. To add your gifts to empower our club's future, to strengthen our work, to benefit our community, to share in our fellowship, and to help bring positive change to our world. Thank you. And now I'm going to invite us into a moment of silence. Over the past couple of years, we've had dear Rotarians pass away, and we're going to use this moment to mark that occasion and remember their service above self. John Bedell passed away in February of 2022. Randy Oakley in September of 2022, and dear Chet Malone of this year. So would you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. Appreciate that. So we're going to kick the night off with me getting my blabbing out of the way. So I'm just gonna offer some thoughts to really focus on all of you and all of the work that you as an entire club did and some individuals. And then we'll install our new officers and our new president and continue to celebrate throughout the evening. I do encourage you to be informal about it. If you want another drink, get up and get that drink or get some more food and really enjoy yourself. So again, my name is Garth Smelser. I've been a Rotarian in 4 different clubs around the country. I was really inspired by my father's lifelong passion towards Rotary, and this enabled me to step up and live out his memory as he recently passed away of COVID. So this was a pretty meaningful year for me to honor his memory through service to the Rotary Club of Falmouth. So I'm really honored that you would entrust me with that position. But I'd like I said, to focus on what we accomplished this year very briefly before we launch into what we're going to accomplish in Amy's year. In the wake of the pandemic, a year ago this time, as I was chatting with Paul and Adam about taking on this responsibility, it would have really been easy for us to collectively and individually just say, well, we're in the pandemic, so much has gone on, we need a year to pause. And we didn't do that. We really rose to the occasion in some record-breaking ways. Having hosted our 22nd annual craft fair, we launched into the year. We just had our record-breaking fundraiser in our 3rd golf tournament. We're heading toward, we had our 2nd day of play at the beginning of this Rotary year and are heading to our 3rd in just a few short weeks. We had significant increases in international projects in Nepal and Guatemala. We continued in our outdoor learning to support our community youth. Our regular programming that we've done for years now with Cape Kids Meal, Happy Hope, and Sport Gardens, we had inspiring and fascinating weekly engagements. We had fellowship events, and we built partnerships. Here are some of the numbers that prove this record of accomplishment this year. Thanks to a membership led by Paul, we had 53 members, 47 active and 6 honorary, including our first family member. Where's our first family member? So even the kids in the audience, be careful of what we're putting you into Rotary. We had 6 brand new members, which is something to be said in the service organization world as Rotary clubs actually diminish in the United States. And we continue to maintain and grow. In the financial arena, our gross income increased by 15%, even in the wake of the pandemic. Our international income, yes, what did our international income increase by? Draw a number. 420%. Yeah. Fundraising overall increased by 17.3%. Bolstered by golf tournament, increasing by 69%, with a total income to our club of $183,000, $681.55. Wow. So part of that was the grants and monies awarded and expensed for good works and projects locally and internationally, and that equated to about $142,000 of that total. Some of our partners that we awarded philanthropically to included Friends of the Falmouth Library, who we contributed to their Library of Things, Happy Hope Factory, Falmouth This, which is volunteers in public service, Good Beef Cape Cod, which is a Wampanoag program, Parasol of Life, and Edward TV. We also contributed to scholarships, continued outdoor education, leadership programs with our Interact Club, our Nepal project, including solar installation, and as well as the Take Pathway. That's over 75% of our income is sent back out within the local and worldwide community. This is the first year that we're looking at starting to track the number of hours that go into this. And in this first baseline year, with only 28 members tracking, we're reporting over 3,500 hours of recordable volunteer time. A couple of final club recognitions that was recently recognized at the district conference were 2 awards that really demonstrate what we've done this year. And the first one is our International Service Award awarded to the Rotary Club of Falmouth. And as we break up and have conversations. If you have a chance to talk to either Sam Patterson or to Robin Singer, I encourage you to learn about what happened. I'm not going to go over it here, but it's sort of astounding the amount of international work that we achieved this year. Bolstered by our international banquet, the first of its kind, we have done so much to change lives in things like Safe Passage and the Poly education project that Sam and Robin are leading. And so the district recognized us in that. Our second district award was the Vibrant Club Significant Achievement for this year. And this was pretty much centered around our pretty innovative Day of Play event. Like I said, it's going to be our third event here on July 8th, where we bring for free all members of the community around just simple family time, away from screens, outside with fun games to play. So I encourage you on July 8th to come see firsthand why we achieved the Vibrant Club Significant Achievement Award. Okay, finally, I promise I'll be done here quickly, but I just want to share a few special thank yous personally to some individuals that without their support, energy, and action, and passion, I would, to be honest, I wouldn't have survived this year. And truthfully, the club would not have achieved half of what it did without these individuals. So with just these few humble words and some small tokens of my deepest gratitude, I won't be able to repay you all, but I know you did do it for me. You did it for the mission itself, and I'm very ever grateful. First off, Paul, can you come up here for a second? So Paul got me into this role. I'm not sure if I should be thanking him or cursing him, and so I'll take the high road and honor him. So
I know what you're going to say.
As a friend, Paul was able to bravely remind me why I said yes to this role. Because I'm a father. And he's the only one that would say, think of your father. And that might seem weird in the way that someone passed, but to me, it means my father wasn't forgotten. And I'm grateful that he had the bravery to mention that once in a while for me. And when my energy was low and I was spiraling or ready to give up, he managed to share a motivating word, a friendly text to say, come on, let's keep going. And so I kept going. When the admin committee was waning in energy, he would be there, being our accountability partner. When the board needed a little bit of push, he was there. So I'm very, very grateful for what you offered me as a friend and a mentor. I'm really appreciative. For these next two members, I can't overstate how many times they failed me out of places. Each and every moment when they chose to say, I can do that for you, they collectively built into this year, which sometimes I felt like I was just along for the ride, which is fun. I don't know if I have like howdy doody lines right here. Sometimes I feel like they're puppets, so that's fine. Robin, come on up here. Robin, between her work on the Poly project, International Banquet, taking over program scheduling in both, Robin really embodies servant leadership. She always shuns the spotlight, says, no, I can't do that. But to be honest, she's sort of a president behind the scenes, making things happen. So the drive that she has to lead without title or authority, she still gets stuff done. And that is the true definition of leader, to be able to do it without the authority, without the title. So I'm really, really grateful for everything accomplished. Thank you. We're just going to pay family here, so I'll try my best, but I have a whole year to thank her. Amy, as you all well know, is a powerhouse. That's the best word that I could think of. We entered sort of a gentle agreement about just we're going to do this together. And I'm better, for better or worse, I have to now live up to that commitment to support her this year. And I'm not really sure if I'll be able to do half of what she did to make this year successful for me. I'm humbled by Amy's energy. that she displays day in and day out just to get things done. Even when it doesn't make sense with all the information that's coming her way, and one more ask, and she seems to be able to answer every single ask. When I or the admin committee or the board had a question or idea, she was on it. When something needed to get done for a weekly meeting or a special event, she was on it. How she juggles family, work, and Rotary the way she does will forever and ever amaze me. To be honest, I remain in a bit of awe. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to move into the part where a little bit of official administrative work that we actually need to announce our nominated slate of officers. So at the end of the Rotary year, which ends right about now, beginning of July, we vote in a new slate of officers. So I'm going to announce those that have been nominated, and the club president will vote on those officers. So first off, President Amy Leonardi has been nominated to be the 23-24 president. Paul McAdam, and I'll call you up later, by the way. So if you raise your hand as I call you, President-elect Paul McAdam, Vice President Jean Bouchain, Co-Treasurers Bob Osel, who's not with us, and George Pelletier, Secretary Robin Singer, and our continuing directors, Rosemary Royer, Bill Kerfoot, Adrian Bowman, Chris Mawhead, and Rudy Hunter. Okay, so for members of the club, I would like to solicit a motion to vote in our new slate of officers for the 23-24 Rotary year. And I call for a motion, please.
I make a motion to adopt and approve the slate of officers as stated.
Okay, Alan has made a motion to accept the slate of officers. Sam Patterson seconds. Can I, with a yes, can I hear a vote from voting Rotary Club members? All in favor of the motion as it stands?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you so much. Congratulations. We're gonna officially install you in a few minutes. Okay, the recognition continues. This is an evening of recognition and celebration. It's going to be embarrassing a few of you, just go with it, okay? Just go. Can I have Sam Patterson come up, please? Sam Patterson, as an outgoing board member, thank you for your service. Not just a passionate Rotary member, an educator, a scout leader, a select board member. I don't know that we could have the whole evening dedicated to your service. Just wanted to acknowledge it. Thank you so much for your service. Bill Kerfoot. Like Sam, like others, like Bill, I'm not gonna be able to list every single thing they do. Just imagine that this list is usually twice as long as I said. Bill has been a huge champion for making outdoor learning a normal thing, a routine thing in our community, which I'm so grateful for. His advocacy for sport gardens, the amount of dollars that he and his committee brought in for the grant work. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Bill. George, can you come up? So George, the first bullet down here, volunteers for every single event. That's not an exaggeration. Every single event. What is the rough? What sort of the story you had about parking?
To get George to get out of the rain of wind at Highfield Hall When you were in part of the house, I had a light in until it was 1:30.
That was a perfect ending for George's dedication. But between that, his grant work served as backup treasurer for over a decade. George, thank you so much. Rudy Hunter. So, like I am with Amy, I just sort of stand in awe of what Rudy can accomplish with all that he has in his life. The driving force behind our primary fundraisers, the golf tournament now, and the craft fair that has been going on for decades. I don't really have words for it because you are the backbone of our club and just embody service above self. Thank you so much. So those are our general service awards, and each one's received a service citation and a small memento of our appreciation. These two next awards are about exemplary service in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Rotary, I'm proud to say, is finally catching up with that work of needing to diversify, to be more equitable in our service, and be more inclusive of our community members. Bobby Richards isn't here this evening, but I want to verbalize our appreciation of her. She brought the idea and championed the day of play, which brings, again, a free event to all family members in Falmouth. And it's so unique, so innovative, and really thinks inclusively of all socioeconomic parts of our community. And so in our appreciation, she not only received the citation, but she's going to receive a small memento and 250 points to the Paul Harris Fellow, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Our second diversity, equity, and inclusion awardee is Amy Wyman. Can you come up?
Surprise people. It's a birthday. And it's a birthday.
This is Lisa. I look for you. So in addition to taking on the organizing backbone behind the philanthropy committee, which really brought some wonderful structure to it this year, she helped us champion the Wampanoag celebration, and now we've got this new partnership with the tribe celebrating that diverse community and such an important cultural part of Cape Cod. So wanted to recognize you in that with, again, a citation, a small memento, and 250 points towards Paul Harris.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for cheering on these folks. It really means a lot to us as the board members to see them recognized. So I alluded to Paul Harris Fellow, and for visitors and family members, Paul Harris Fellow in Rotary is like the Oscar or the Grammy, right, or the Emmy. So this is a pretty big deal, and you can get a Paul Harris Fellow through a variety of ways, including your monetary gifts or your service. So Rotary was founded by Paul Harris, who was a lawyer, and along with three business associates in Chicago back in 1905, he started Rotary. So the Paul Harris Fellow recognition acknowledges individuals who contribute or have contributions made in their name of $1,000 or more. It established this recognition in 1957 and shows appreciation for substantial contributions in service or monetary. So what does receiving a Paul Harris Fellow mean? What does it signify? In my own experience across my 4 clubs and in my research, it's really what we make of it. It's really how we live up to the service of self motto. And as we recognize these folks with the Paul Harris Fellow, we say that they exemplify that motto based on individuals' philanthropic and service contributions. So for the following recipients, there's an individual story of why we're calling them up. It's a rich story and they deserve recognition. So each will receive a pin recognizing their sacrifice and service, which is received this evening. Adrian Goldman. So I was gonna make a joke about this, like if you get 8 with Rotary, and you can imagine what getting 8 with Rotary means, then you get a Paul Harris Fellow, but she actually did do some work. She led the district conference, she's a past president, and it's a combination of her years and years of service as board members, as admin committee member, as secretary. She's gonna receive the citation, a Paul Harris Fellow Award, and a scarf recognizing you as a team member. On the senior. So I've never seen such a new member get a Paul Harris Fellow, and that I hope exemplifies how maniacal Robin's service, that's really in my mind, how maniacal her service can be in her first short time with Rotary. Again, I'm not going to go into what a rigorous project and Apollo project was, but it's quite amazing. And if you want to learn about that, I encourage you to talk to her, talk to me. It's so personal because it's not just the thousands of dollars that she has raised to send to Nepal and solar projects on to get their school going, to support them. It comes down to a very personal level where I and even my girls were reading to the girls across that screen, thousands of miles away, to help them in their education, to help them keep them out of sex trafficking. It is both universally large with the money that we raise and extremely intimate with the connection with that. So in honor of that, and that's just the start. She jumped onto the board, she joined the admin committee, she's going to be the secretary, but she took over early. She took over all the programming for this past year. I can't think of anyone more worthy than
program for next year.
as a Paul Harris Fellow. So she also will get a citation, the Paul Harris Fellow Award, and a scarf in that. So like Robin is such a new member, to be awarded the Paul Harris Fellows is pretty monumental, and so is this to award a community member a Paul Harris Fellows, usually focused on membership within, and we thought this person's service warranted bringing them into the fold of a Paul Harris Fellowship.
So I'm gonna actually invite Rudy up here to do a little bit, say a few words. But for this person's dedication to this club as both a past member and as well as with his help with the golf club, golf tournament in the past few years, we're going to be recognizing Rudy.
You kind of stand up. Because Tom has been the driving force with our run. He joined our committee on a recommendation to me from Jack Rosenbaum, and he has truly been a dedicated and committed non-Rotarian to the Rotary, and he epitomizes service of the tribe. He's had many roles in
from the meeting. First of all, his dedication by being there every Monday from November through June. That's the dedication and commitment of time. He's also been a mentor to many of us because he's an avid golfer and he knows all about tournaments. So he's been a great partner. And one of the things that you can't really quantify is the fact that he has challenged us to think bigger. And last year, we netted, I think, 20,000. This year, we netted 50,000, close to 49 something. So that the beneficiaries on its place got approximately half. In addition to a contribution that he personally made to two counties place for $1,000. Along with Paul, because that's good above and beyond. And so one of the fond memories I have of this one is how we want to push that way back. We want to be thinking small, pancake breakfast, $1 million, okay? And even during that time, the pancake breakfast, I remember you coming up with a premium sponsor and to put up flags. And that was the biggest we ever did on that kind of breakfast in our history. It was $5,000 versus $2,000. So, Tom, congratulations. Thank you on behalf of the committee and personally myself. Thank you, my friend.
I want to remember that usually I get in this years. It's currently grateful for you, Mario. Really true.
I should also get an award for being the grumpiest pusher. That will continue.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, the good rounds of applause for every single individual. What a wonderful year. And now we move forward to the new Rotary year. So I'll start by first installing the incoming president. Can my smile get bigger? And then we'll install the whole slate of officers. Amy, will you join me? Amy, you have been selected by members of the Rotary Club of Falmouth to guide its affairs during the coming year. You've been entrusted with an important responsibility that will help shape your club's future. It's an expression of their confidence in your leadership. If you agree to accept the responsibility of leading your club and serving your members, please raise your right hand and respond with "I will" to this pledge of office. You, Amy, solemnly pledge that you will faithfully execute the office of President of the Rotary Club of Falmouth, and that you will, to the best of your ability, give support and assistance to District 7950 Governor Angela Pont and to Rotary International President Gordon McAnally, and that you uphold the Constitution and bylaws of this club. Thank you. So now we're going to present Amy with her pen. Just so you're aware, she handed me the thing that I was supposed to hand her. Representatives are here to get out of this. I don't know what it is. Present Amy with her pen. The dress you have on, braids. Brian, really? Get up here. Come on, you're speaking a lot of invaders. And this is Amy's new pin, new name tag for the official president. Thank you. Okay, actually, we have this to display, right? So this is our new, I think it's such a wonderful embodiment of Amy's sort of demeanor and inspiring way of working. This is the new Rotary Year motto: create hope in the world. Love it. Okay, so that's our new banner. Well, the new slate of officers come up and join the us. You know who you are, you can't hide anymore. We voted you in.
Nice night. Yep, that's it.
Directors and officers, by accepting the position for which you have been nominated, you are agreeing to serve the Rotary Club of Falmouth and to support your club and President Amy Leonardi. I'm so good. Each of you will also be agreeing to support the goals of Rotary District 7950, District Governor, and Rotary International President, and the theme for this Rotary Year: create hope in the world. You will be pledging to support the work and the goals of Rotary and to serve others, both in our local community and internationally. You agree to apply the four-way test to the things you think, say, or do, and let it be a guide in your personal life, in your business life, and in your volunteer and service work. You're accepting important positions in our club. Our members and I ask that you uphold the highest tradition of this club and of Rotary, and that you serve to the best of your ability and in accordance with the bylaws of our club. So to all of our new continuing officers and directors, if you agree to accept these duties, please raise your right hand and respond with "I will" to the following. You all solemnly pledge that you will fulfill the duties of your office in the Rotary Club of Falmouth to the best of your ability, and that you will support President Amy Leonardi and will abide by the club's constitution and bylaws. Congratulations to each of you. With your leadership and with the support of your club members and with the additional support of Rotarians worldwide, we can, we will, and we do make this world a better place.
It's a hopper above.
Good.
So are you ready?
So, according to our So part of our ritual is passing of the gavel, which Paul wielded so well and tried to pass on to me to do well. I didn't really live up to it. So the passing of the gavel to announce our weekly meetings is a really special part of it. So it is official.
Thank you very, very much. We got a couple more things to do before we finish up socializing for the evening. And before I, pass it off to, Garth, I know we recognize Amy Wyman's birthday, but this year going forward, we're going to be bringing back our monthly recognition. So I would like to recognize some birthdays and anniversaries before we move forward for this month. So some birthdays for this month, other than our 40-year-old Amy Wyman, 40 fabulous. We have Linda Randall on the 3rd. Honorary member of Pete Bierman on the 7th. Ian Michelle from California on the 13th. Buddy Cudmore on the 25th. Obviously, and Steve Clay on the 30th. Happy birthday to all of our new birthday. One thing that we're mentioning is we had a birthday on the 29th in 2 days. Randy Hunter's wife, me. So I also want to recognize a couple of anniversaries in the room for the month of June. We have Steve and Mary Beth Clay, who have celebrated 50 years together on June 1st. Audrey County also celebrated 52 years on June 6th. My loving husband, who has run off, we celebrated 7 years on June 15th. Matt and Arlene Moore celebrated 61 years on June 16th. Jeff and Amy London celebrated 10 years on June 22nd. And George and Mars Pelletier will celebrate 60 years on June 23rd. So now we're going to do a presentation to Garth as our past president. So words kind of fail me too, because Garth and I have worked together pretty closely over the past few years, and especially the past year. And I've been so appreciative of being able to work cooperatively with Garth this past year. As someone in a very similar situation as it relates to family and work, it was reassuring to know that if he was able to serve as president, that I too would be able to accomplish the same within the same time constraints. He was always very respectful of my time and has been and continues to be a great sounding board. The club's accomplishments under past President Garth are impressive and are a testament in supportive and focused leadership. Going forward, as agreed upon between the two of us, he will continue to heavily support me during Europe, and for that I am very grateful. As I brainstormed for a gift for Garth the past few months, a repetitive theme kept coming up for me. His ability to keep us organized and keep us on time, so that as a club we could maximize our efforts. Time is one of those funny things in life. No matter who you are, the one thing that is the great equalizer of us all is time. Time is not a commodity one can purchase, and once it is gone forever. You cannot get it back. Every moment we have counts, and we have to think about how best to maximize that time that we have been given, for we never know when it may run out. In keeping with the tradition from last year of gifts with a meaning, this year we selected a gift that will ensure Garth always remembers to make each moment count and to keep the rest of us on time going forward. We hope you appreciate and enjoy this Rotary gift of time and wear it as a reminder to make each moment count. So Garth, will you come up? And so Garth has a little treat inside. Looks like Rotary packs their stuff really, really well when they ship it to us. So excellent. So we gave him a Rotary walk. Before I get into the vision, I just want to take a moment and do my thank yous as well. I want to take a moment to thank some people in my life because without all of them, I would not be where I am today. My parents unfortunately cannot be here tonight as they are traveling, but I am grateful to them for their support and always challenging me to grow. My husband, Brian, who for the past 26 years has been my best friend, supporting me and stepping up constantly, allowing me to follow my dreams and invest the time that it takes for me to serve. My grandmother Judy, who has always nurtured my faith and spirit from the time I was born, has been a pillar of strength for me my whole life. My siblings, especially my sister Sarah, who is here, who always supports my ideas and projects without a second thought. She builds me up and encourages me. My friends and coworkers, Leonardi, Amy, Adrian, Ellie, Robin, and Liz, who are strong sounding boards for ideas, always willing to help me problem solve and supporting me, especially in early work, even though some of them are not even returned. These ladies always answer the call, and they especially did during COVID, the times were really tough. All of you and our Rotary members who are not here tonight, and especially John Vidal, Steve Clay, George Pelletier, Jack Rosenbaum, Rudy Hunter, Alan Wilson, and Bill Kurza, who early on when I became a Rotarian, helped me carve my way within Rotary 12 years ago. Leading by example, and nurturing the spark they saw within me to help me grow as a leader. My children for their patience and willingness to follow mom for her service projects over the years, in hopes that they might find the spark within themselves as well. I will be leaning on all of you as we go forward in this year. In the past, as you have leaned on me, now I ask that I can lean on you. Most of all, I have to thank God. My strong faith has been the one constant in my life, that no matter what life throws at me, both blessings and trials, has sustained me through those moments. My vision. The Rotary Club of Falmouth is going into its 97th year. Chartered in 1927, this club formed a mere 22 years after the very first meeting in Chicago. What started as a group of men wanting to share ideas and do acts of service has now grown worldwide to over 1.4 million people and over 46,000 clubs. In 1989, Rotary voted to allow women into the club, but the work on this had begun as early as 1950. In 1987, Rotary Club of Dorchester, California became the first club to allow women and elected a woman as their president. From this point on, things began to move faster. And by 2022, only this past year, Rotary International elected their very first woman president. To be able to progress with 72 years, a lifetime. I joined the Rotary Club of Falmouth on July 17, 2012, during a breakfast meeting at JML, sponsored and recruited by Steve Clay and Jack Rosenbaum, respectively. This marks the beginning of my 12th year with the club, and I will be joining excellent company. Two female presidents have preceded me in our club history. Linda Rando from 1996 to 1997, and Adrienne Bauer from 2018 to 2019. It is an honor to join the ranks of these two amazing leaders. As well as all our past club presidents, many of whom are in this room now. I also have family connections within the Falmouth Rotary Club itself. My father, Gary, was a Rotarian during the 80s, along with my maternal grandfather, Ken Rebecca, who was a member in both the 70s and 80s. Some of you may remember this time along with past members Larry McCarthy, Walter Carlson, Robert Francina, and Harold Casperson. It was this club in 1977 that funded the helicopter pad at Falmouth Hospital. My grandfather Ken was the Falmouth Club's very first recipient of a Paul Harris Fellow as a result of his service to the club. He was proud of accomplishment for the remainder of his life. I felt my own call to service from a young age. During my freshman year of high school spring break, I opted to take part in a service trip to Appalachia, where we worked with 3 families helping to rebuild their homes. It was truly a profound experience for me at a young age to see the poverty within our own country, but also the kindness of people who had nothing but were willing to give and share what little they did with us. That experience was a foundational moment for me and would stay with me as I navigated the next 25 years of my life and would shape many of my future actions. My family will tell you that I've always had an open heart and a strong need to serve others. In fact, they would probably tell you that I give up too much of my time and emotional investment for causes and projects that many others sometimes see as lost. Friends and others who meet me in passing will often tell me, I don't know how you do it, or I do not know where you find the time. There it is again, that elusive commodity popping up once again, time. When reflecting during writing this speech, I thought about just how much of my time has been devoted to Rotary and to other service to the schools or my personal life with friends and family. And upon trying to calculate, I realized that the majority of my time is very much devoted to the service of others. Much like all of you, I do not know where I find the time, nor the energy to do it all. The truth is that service unto others does not feel like work. It does not feel like a burden, a demand, or exhausting. It feels as natural as breathing. I know this is a familiar feeling to all of you in this room, as it is to all of those who are called to service. This is because we are nourishing our hearts and souls in our act of doing it. And in doing so, we are in fact creating hope within the world. Being called to serve is a great honor. To be able to share our gifts to help benefit the many. There is no choice in the matter. It is simply who we are. We know we cannot purchase time, nor get it back once it is gone. We only know that with the time we have, we want to serve. For my presidential year, I will be incorporating President Gordon McAnally's goals within our own club, while putting our own focus on it. He wants us to create hope in the world in the service that we do. His goals include mental health, empowering girls, and building peace. He has challenged us the year ahead by sharing much of our best work might be supporting the continuing efforts of others, and to build upon the successes and work we have done as a club. Our club for a long time now has been particularly focused on youth, both within our local community and now in our international projects, like in supporting the Girls' School in Nepal and Safe Passage in Guatemala. That being said, I plan on continuing this work moving forward with a continued emphasis on our youth for each of these goals. I am a firm believer that by investing now in our children, that it will bring the payout this world needs in the future. By dedicating our time in these moments, we will create strong foundations that will make our youth strong enough to weather the changes that this world throws at them, even as society continues to change. We need to nurture these youth as leaders much like Rotary did for me. In the 10 years leading up to the pandemic, feelings of persistent sadness and hopelessness, as well as suicidal thoughts and behaviors, increased by 40% among young people. This is according to the CDC Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System. Mental health was already a crisis worldwide and in the US prior to COVID. And now as we begin to see the fallout, it continues to increase as an issue. The most recent findings on global depression rates from the WHO indicate that the US is third highest overall. Recent research indicates that global rates of depression continue to rise. Between COVID, the rise of social media, and societal pressures, these factors have had a massive effect not only on us as adults, but on the youth. This is not an individual or single community issue. It is a national and global issue. With a continued backlog of support services everywhere, and especially here on Cape Cod, the ever-widening gap is now vital to close. Our club projects with outdoor learning, day of play, the Wampanoag Cultural Day, Safe Passage, Hall Project, and even our recent partnership with Tommy's Place all help with mental health in their own ways. Through these projects, we are empowering our youth locally and internationally. President McAnally has shared, research shows that performing acts of kindness is an effective step any of us can take to protect our well-being. And by building peace within ourselves, we become more capable of bringing peace to the world. I am challenging all of you in the year ahead to doing at least one small daily act of kindness to a fellow Rotarian in this club. By nurturing our own fellow Rotarians, it will strengthen the well-being of our club overall, and in turn strengthen what we can accomplish together. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has stated, women with power can bring a compassionate revolution. And while I agree with this, I also believe that both men and women can do this together. Where does it all begin? It begins by changing our role models and following women and men who are the examples of strength, accountability, and leadership that we want the world to be. We need to show our youth, our sons, and our daughters those same role models and honor them in everyday conversations. It begins with all of us leading by example and being the role models within our own community that it needs. If we continue the work we have done while keeping mental health, youth empowerment, and peace as the backbone of what we are doing, then we will help meet the goals President McAnally is challenging us to meet. Our impact as a club has grown exponentially in the past few years. And in the coming year ahead, I am challenging this club to not only meet, but beat our impact from prior years. But I also want to increase our impact on our youth through more service opportunities that will allow us to interact with them and to lead directly as role models. Paul Harris once shared, whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world it will be known by the results it achieves. Together we can achieve and create an impact that will be felt long after all of us are gone. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, in one of his sermons, said it best. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is the greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. In the year ahead, my fellow Rotarians, I challenge you to be this servant in all that you do and to create hope in this club, in your home, in the community, and worldwide. Thank you. Thank you very much. One quick announcement, before we go, please see Chris Holden for because they have flyers, the day of play and signs. And then my final act right now, and welcome to Socialize Some More. I will conclude this meeting of our installation.
Yeah.
Great job.
And we decided.